It's just part of it. You know, there's entertainers and there's competitors, and I totally understand that. And my job is to compete, and that's what I'm focused.
Dillon Gabriel was supposed to be locked in on his first real NFL action, but instead, the rookie quarterback found himself in the middle of a controversy that might haunt him all season. In the middle of a nationally broadcast sideline interview, Gabriel shocked fans by bringing up Shedeur Sanders, a quarterback who wasn't even playing. Cameras caught it, microphones picked it up, and suddenly, a preseason game turned into a drama show. Instead of owning his turnovers or focusing on his growth, Gabriel's words came off as dismissive, even bitter. He brushed aside Sanders' hype, hinting that stats don't win you respect and that the Browns need a real leader, not just a media darling. The crowd at home heard it, the locker room heard it, and social media lit up within minutes. It wasn't just what Gabriel said, it was the timing. He had just thrown a pick six, just botched a handoff, and yet he used his interview time to throw shade at the one quarterback every Browns fan is waiting to see, Shedeur Sanders. In that moment, Gabriel didn't just play the game, he played with fire. And now everyone's asking the same question. Why would Dillon Gabriel down his teammate? And I think that's a question we all know the answer to. Hello everyone, this is the Huddle HQ. Thank you for watching the video. I just want to remind you to go and look in the comments. Sign up for the Shedeur jersey giveaway. You could be a lucky winner on August 21st. Thank you very much. Now, let's get back into the story of Dillon Gabriel hating on Shedeur Sanders. Like always, the Browns didn't draft Dillon Gabriel to stir controversy. They drafted him to compete, to bring stability, to maybe even be the future if things broke the right way. Saturday night against the Eagles was supposed to be his chance to prove he belonged in the conversation with Shedeur Sanders, Joe Flacco, and Kenny Pickett. I'll be completely honest, at first things looked pretty promising. He started strong, he completed 13 of 18 passes, blah 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 blah. But all that promise evaporated in an instant because he threw a pick six and forced a throw into tight coverage that Eagles rookie Andrew Mukuba jumped and took to the house. Then came the fumble, a botched handoff to Pierre Strong that gifted Philadelphia another possession. And Pierre Strong was visibly upset. 2 turnovers in one half, 2 massive momentum stalls. For a rookie trying to win over coaches and teammates, they were devastated. That was the context when Gabriel sat down for his mid-game interview. He could have focused on the mistakes, he could have owned them, talked about learning, about staying focused. Instead, he had to make it about Shedeur Sanders, a decision that would turn a rough night into a firestorm. And the way he framed it, that's what everyone's talking about. So midway through the second quarter, with the Browns broadcast cutting to the sideline, Dillon Gabriel had the mic in his face. He was sweaty, visibly frustrated, and just minutes removed from throwing a pick six. The reporter asked him about bouncing back from mistakes. It should have been a softball question, an easy chance to say, "I've got to clean it up and keep moving." But instead, Gabriel pivoted. For whatever reason, he didn't just talk about himself. He brought up Shedeur Sanders, and he was definitely throwing shade when he said that he came to compete and not entertain. So he's just going to be focused on competing, as if Shedeur Sanders didn't go out and play better than him. I've also received a locker room leak from Dillon Gabriel being overheard saying, "I know people are hyping Shedeur up with a sharp tone, but hype doesn't win football games, leadership does." He also said that he's out there taking the hits, and he's not some media creation. The interview clip hit social media before the game even ended. Fans immediately picked up on the message. Gabriel wasn't just frustrated with his play, he was frustrated that Shedeur Sanders was the story of the preseason. His words sounded like a shot across the locker room. Sanders wasn't even suited up, sidelined with an oblique injury. Yet somehow he was still dominating the conversation, and Gabriel in that moment made it clear he wasn't happy about it. The problem, Gabriel had no leverage. He was talking about leadership while trailing the Eagles fresh off 2 costly turnovers that had his teammates shaking their heads. Fans lit up X and Instagram with the same take. If Gabriel wants to call out Shedeur, maybe don't throw the ball to the other team first. What should have been a rookie learning moment turned into a headline. Instead of talking about Gabriel's accuracy or flashes of potential, the post-game conversation was dominated by one thing. The rookie quarterback decided to take shots at the most popular player on the roster. And Shedeur Sanders didn't even need to respond, at least not directly. The moment Dillon Gabriel's interview aired, social media turned into a war zone. Clips of his comments flooded timelines within minutes, chopped up with captions like, "Gabriel salty about Shedeur," and "This ain't it, Chief," which we all know is not. Fans weren't just reacting to the words, they were dissecting the tone. To many, it sounded less like confidence and more like bitterness. Browns fans, already divided about the quarterback competition, pounced. One side argued Gabriel was just defending himself, trying to establish that he's more than a rookie placeholder in Shedeur Sanders' shadow. But the other side saw it differently, a desperate quarterback punching up at a teammate who hasn't even had the chance to defend himself. "Bro just threw a pick six and he's worried about Shedeur," one viral comment read, racking up thousands of likes. The media didn't let it slide either. Cleveland Talk Radio lit up the next morning with segments about rookie immaturity and locker room fractures. National outlets picked it up too, framing the story as another chapter in the Browns' endless quarterback drama. Instead of praising Gabriel for his solid completion rate or early flashes of composure, every headline boiled down to the same takeaway. He talked about the wrong thing at the wrong time. And through it all, Shedeur Sanders' name kept trending. He wasn't on the field. He wasn't even interviewed. But somehow he was at the center of the biggest Browns story of the weekend. Gabriel's words gave him even more oxygen, and fans couldn't help but notice the irony. Because while Gabriel was trying to downplay Sanders, every jab he threw only made Shedeur look bigger, stronger, and more untouchable in the eyes of the public. And that's when Shedeur Sanders, in typical fashion, found a way to clap back without ever saying his opponent's name. Shedeur Sanders didn't need a microphone to answer Dillon Gabriel. He didn't even need to be in uniform. His response was already written in the numbers on the tape, and in the way the city of Cleveland was buzzing about him before Gabriel ever took a snap. Sanders' debut against the Carolina Panthers is still the talk of the preseason. So when Gabriel went on TV and downplayed the hype, he accidentally reminded everyone of why the hype existed in the first place. Sanders didn't build it with words. He built it with execution. He lets his play do the talking, and his play screams louder than anything Gabriel said on the sideline. And then came the subtle fire. Sanders posted a single line to social media after Gabriel's game. Energy speaks for itself. He didn't tag Gabriel. He didn't need to. Everyone knew who it was aimed at. It was a masterclass in control. Sanders is refusing to get into a shouting match, instead letting his reputation and his stat line speak for him. That contrast, one rookie fumbling on the field and fumbling with his words, the other shining on the field and responding with silence, only deepened the divide. Fans saw maturity versus immaturity, leadership versus desperation. And in a quarterback competition already stacked with politics, the narrative was suddenly clear. Sanders didn't just have the hype, he had the composure. But this clash wasn't just about personalities. It was about a depth chart that was starting to look like a ticking time bomb. The Browns came into camp preaching patience. Head coach Kevin Stefanski insisted the quarter competition would play itself out, pointing to veterans Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett at his stabilizers, while rookies Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel learned the ropes. On paper, it was supposed to be orderly, a four-man room with time to sort things out. But order doesn't sell in Cleveland. Drama does. And the second Gabriel opened his mouth about Sanders, he turned a controlled quarterback battle into a national storyline. The depth chart was already fragile. Sanders, despite his near-flawless debut, was listed below Gabriel and the veterans. The front office had invested a third-round pick in Gabriel, and they weren't about to throw that away after one preseason game. At the same time, Sanders' debut drew 22 million viewers, making it one of the most watched preseason games of the decade. The city had already picked its guy. Every decision the Browns make now feels like they're either embracing Sanders' momentum or fighting against it. That's why Gabriel's comments hit so hard. He wasn't just defending himself, he was exposing the tension no one wanted to say out loud. Sanders is the popular choice, the flashy choice the fans are demanding. Gabriel is the organizational investment, the player the front office wants to justify. And when one calls the other just hype, it isn't a throwaway line. It's a crack in the foundation of the depth chart itself. So suddenly, this isn't just about who throws the better ball in practice. It's about politics, perception, and pride. And when those three collide in Cleveland, history says chaos usually follows. The only question is, did Gabriel's words speed up Sanders' rise or expose the Browns to another quarterback disaster? Quarterback battles are supposed to be professional, internal, and handled with quiet competition. But what happened between Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders has already spilled far beyond the practice field. This isn't just about snaps, reps, and film anymore, people. It's personal. Wake up! By calling out Sanders during a live sideline interview, Gabriel crossed the line that rookies rarely touch. Usually young quarterbacks stick to cliches like, "I've got to improve," or "we're all learning together." Instead, Gabriel put a target on Sanders' back while his jersey was still soaked from a pick six. I just can't get over that. It wasn't just surprising, it was super intentional, and fans could sense it. I know you could. Browns Nation instantly reframed the quarterback competition as a rivalry, one defined less by playbooks and more by personality. On one side, Sanders, calm, efficient, unbothered by his poise and comparisons to Tom Brady. On the other side, Gabriel, fiery, unspoken, determined to prove he isn't living in Shedeur's shadow. The danger for Gabriel is that perception sticks. Every time he speaks now, it'll be measured against his turnovers. Every time Sanders posts a calm message or drops a crisp throw, it'll look like he's winning the character battle too. What should have been a clean race for QB reps is now a narrative storm where every action feels magnified. And this is exactly how NFL rivalries are born. Sanders didn't start it, Gabriel did. But once you open that door, you can't close it. Whether Gabriel meant it as a dig or just frustration spilling out, he's created a storyline that the media and fans won't let die. This isn't just two rookies learning the ropes anymore. It's a rookie rivalry that's beginning to define the Browns' preseason, and the fallout could have long-term consequences for both quarterbacks. In the NFL, reputations are built fast, and they're even faster to break. For Dillon Gabriel, the sideline interview was supposed to be a chance to humanize himself, show and prove he had the mental toughness to bounce back from mistakes. Instead, he left the impression of a rookie rattled by pressure and jealous of his competition. That kind of perception is dangerous. Coaches may not say it out loud, but they watch how players carry themselves as closely as how they throw a football. And I'm not sure if you noticed, when Dillon Gabriel threw that pick six, he attempted to make a tackle, but I'm not sure if the word attempted could even be used. He gave about 0.001 effort and just walked right off the sideline while his interception was getting run in for six. The contrast between Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders can't be sharper. One rookie digging himself deeper with words, the other elevating with silence. In the long run, that kind of public perception can decide careers. Sanders is being framed as the Browns' future face, the quarterback fans want to see. Gabriel risks remembered as the rookie who blinked when the pressure hit. And in Cleveland, a city with a long history of quarterback chaos, that kind of fallout doesn't just decide preseason storylines. It really can decide legacies. The Browns thought they had a quarterback competition. What they have is a reality show. Every snap, every interview, every sideline glance between Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel is now being magnified under the brightest lights Cleveland has seen in years. The truth is, this rivalry isn't ending with the depth chart update. Gabriel has already shown he's willing to speak his mind, even if it comes at the cost of his image. That means the cameras will keep following him, waiting for the next slip, the next soundbite, the next jab that can be spliced into a headline. In today's NFL, one viral video defines a player more than a stat line. Sanders, on the other hand, has momentum on his side. His brand is growing, his performance was crisp, and his ability to stay composed while Gabriel unraveled only adds to his mystique. He doesn't need to clap back directly. His aura, his fan support, and his clean play are already doing the work for him. And this is where things get dangerous for the Browns. Rivalries can push players to greatness, but they also can divide locker rooms. Veterans don't want to answer questions about rookie drama. Coaches don't want the depth chart to become a media circus. Yet here they are with two rookies creating the kind of storyline that could overshadow the entire preseason. The Browns have to decide. Do they let this play out organically, risking Gabriel imploding under the weight of his own words, or do they lean into the momentum and give Sanders the chance fans are begging for? Either way, the drama isn't slowing down. It's only building. So here's the brutal truth. Dillon Gabriel's sideline interview didn't just make news, it reshaped the entire quarterback conversation in Cleveland. He had the chance to steady himself after mistakes, to show humility and leadership. Instead, he took shots at Shedeur Sanders, a rookie who wasn't even on the field, and turned the spotlight into a magnifying glass. The instant fallout was instant. Gabriel looked insecure, Sanders looked untouchable, and fans wasted no time declaring which side of the rivalry they were on. In a city starved for stability at quarterback, Gabriel's words felt like cracks in the foundation. Sanders' silence, paired with his debut performance, looked like a strength. So here's the gist. This preseason battle is bigger than reps and play calls, people. It's about image, maturity, and who the franchise wants to represent them. And we already know how the owner feels about Shedeur. Gabriel may have been trying to defend himself, but in doing so, he might have written the first chapter of his downfall. Sanders, without saying a word, might have secured his spot as the face of the future. So here's the question that lingers. Was Gabriel simply speaking his truth, frustrated by the hype around Shedeur Sanders? Or did he hand Sanders the ultimate weapon, a narrative that makes him look like the leader Cleveland has been waiting for? Because in the NFL, one mistake can cost you a game, but one comment can cost you a career. This is the Huddle HQ. Thank you for watching, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you soon with more NFL updates.